talked about at Dream Camp today, is not to ever let our circumstances define us, not to let someone else's opinion of us define or destroy us, and to please don't ever let anyone put you in a box. I am way too odd-shaped. I don't fit in anyone's box, and don't put yourself in one either. I refuse to get in any box until I'm 6 feet under. It's exciting to look at all of you and to think about the winners today and their dreams. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey. My journey from the beach to the boardroom began long before the long ago modeling career, long before the days of Sports Illustrated. My first dream that I took action on, I was 4 years old, and I went to the beach and I collected rocks, and I loved the irregularity of the shapes, and the smoothness just gave a wonderful surface for my paintings. And my sister Mary and I designed these rocks, and we sold them from our wagon. And it was a combination of design and business. I sold mine for a nickel. My sister, being 3 years older, designs more sophisticated, sold hers for a dime. And you know what? I did really well. I learned at a young age that my customers appreciated a good value, and I was tempted to market my rocks, buy 2 of mine for the price of 1 of Mary's. But I realized, you know what, that would be unfair competition, and it was much more fun to live that dream in harmony with my sister and to have a true partnership. The next dream was designing jewelry and handbags. My mom, this was the 1970s, and she was designing halter gowns, these haute couture designs, and we would sell our work at the local art fairs on the beach, and the jewelry and the handbags would coordinate. But my first really big dream was a paper route. Where I grew up, you had to be 11 and a half, and when I finally came of age, my dad just kind of gently shoves a newspaper under my nose, and the ad read, "Newspaper carrier wanted. Are you the boy for the job?" So I wasn't going to let anyone shatter that dream. I wrote a letter to the editor, and I said, no, I'm not the boy for the job, I'm the girl for the job. I can do this route just as well as any boy. I deserve a chance. First day, New Year's Day, papers are extra thick. I'm a scrawny 11-year-old thinking, what have I gotten myself into? And I'll never forget, I'm pedaling up this steep hill, and I notice this gentleman. He's standing at the end of his driveway, and he looks really upset. And as I got closer, I could see, yeah, he really was. His face was beet red. He had veins popping out of his neck. And as I handed him his newspaper, he began yelling at me. "What are you doing here? This is a boy's job. You have no business being here. You're never going to last." And I didn't let him see me cry. But to this day, I'm really grateful to him, because there were a lot of days I felt like quitting, and I would not give him that satisfaction. I'm just curious, anybody here ever face any kind of discrimination of any kind? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. All right. It stinks. It really stinks. And life is unfair. And I just encourage you, don't let that stop your dreams. Don't let someone else's stupidity get in your way and stop you from your dreams. Don't ever let that happen. My dad always said to me, "Kathy, give 110%. If the customer expects the paper on the driveway, you put it on the front porch." So that was a foundation of my learning to underpromise and overdeliver. And many, many years later, I'm still the girl with a paper route. When we started our brand, it was with a pair of socks. I was an aging, pregnant model at our kitchen table. And when I modeled, people used to say, "You're so cheap. Why don't you buy some better clothes or drive a nicer car at least, pay for valet parking?" I prefer to think of it as being fiscally frugal. And I was investing in people. I love sports, and I love working together towards a common goal. I know my strengths. I'm painfully aware of my weaknesses, which are many. And I believe in focusing on those strengths and developing them and asking for help. So often we're just afraid to ask for help. We try to do everything on our own. But working with people who had gifts that I didn't have. Someone with a great eye who would become our creative director. Someone with great leadership skills who would become our president and COO. Someone with production skills, marketing skills. And some would say it was counterintuitive, but I wanted to start our brand with something basic, like a pair of socks, because if women would embrace our designs on that, it might show us if we were on to a real brand, to something that would be lasting. So we began the research process, family-based focus groups, researching these people, surprise factory inspections, because you learn a lot when you show up unexpectedly. Loved the people. The more we dug deeply, the more we loved. And John, thank you, there he is, our genius creative director. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's more cozy. Thank you. Appreciate that. So John and I, we took out the first in a series of loans. And we loaded up our backpacks, hit the roads, and we started presenting our socks to retailers. And the doors slammed in our faces. You know, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Love the socks, but who needs you? You can't start a brand with a pair of socks. It's never been done. It's never been done does not mean that it can't be done. That is noise, and in order to succeed in life and in business, we have to turn down that noise of negativity so we can move forward with the plans for our dreams. In the early days, there were times when we slept in airports in an effort to save money. And some people think of sleeping in an airport as a big deal. It's not. Whatever material thing you have to sacrifice to live your dream, it's not a sacrifice, it's a bold investment. And that bold investment made it possible for us to sell our 100 millionth pair of socks. And something that we talked about today, we talked about the fact that we are all brands, whether we like it or not. Every experience with us is a lasting brand impression. And the question is, what kind of a brand are we? Are we anticipatory? Are we innovative? Do we bring value and creativity? Do we get along well with others? Do we consider showing up 10 minutes early being on time? Or are we perpetually late? Are we cranky? Are we difficult? Do we bring our drama with us wherever we go? And one of the beauties of life is that every day we get the opportunity to change and grow and be better. And this is important, what kind of brand we are, because whatever we do in life, it sets us apart. Whether we are a stay-at-home mom or dad, whether we're working out in the business world, whether we work in nonprofit, we need to stun and delight and to set ourselves apart. And brands succeed because they simplify the selection process and they build upon an existing relationship. Will a brand succeed if the product or service is inferior? Absolutely not. The quickest way to destroy any brand is poor quality merchandise, poor quality service, or poor quality price to ratio value. But I will tell you this, I truly believe that when all the elements are in place, a well-branded product, a well-branded service will outperform a generic one of lesser or comparable price, particularly during economic uncertainties and societal changes. And this is a generalization that, because men are loyal with brands as well, but generally speaking, men buy products and women join brands. We're all about relationships and we're very loyal as long as people treat us right. We're very loyal. And particularly during those economic uncertainties and societal changes, women shop where they have that trusted relationship, that comfort there, and that's important. That is powerful. When we have dreams, when we have goals, it's so important that we ask some powerful questions. What do we want? What are we going to do when we have it? How are we going to get it? And what does our timetable look like? Imagination without implementation is hallucination. And when somebody says no, I encourage you to ask why. And when somebody says yes, I encourage you to ask how. Here at Dream Camp, hows are being answered. And one of the greatest gifts of my long ago modeling career, I did not understand it at the time, but it was all the rejection. Because in business, when those doors slammed in my face, and I'm telling you, the rejection does not stop. I still get hung up on, and I figure if I'm not getting rejected, I'm probably not trying hard enough. Some of the business relationships we have, I've fought for years because I believed it was a good fit. And when people said no, it didn't bother me because I thought, well, at least we're talking. I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe your circumstances will have changed, or maybe you'll be in a better mood. And I encourage you, do not let rejection stop you. And criticism, it can be a gift that nobody wants. Back in the days when I modeled, my job description basically was shut up and pose. I had the rare opportunity to speak, and a critic told me that, well, he said it publicly, so that was really nice. He said I had a voice that could kill small animals. And yeah, nice, huh? It was not a real confidence builder, but I'm grateful because it was a fork in the road, and it forced me to decide if I was going to allow the cruelty of his comment to forever silence me, or if despite the criticism, I would speak out on issues of importance. And I really hope no animals were hurt. I love animals. I hope none were hurt. But I had to admit I was 25 years old and I could not order a pizza on the telephone. I had a really high voice and they thought I was a kid making a prank phone call. And criticism, we have to, it's a gift, and we've got to unwrap it to discern if it's just garbage that we need to toss out, or if despite the poor communication and the nastiness that it's wrapped in, if there's a shred of truth, if there's something that we can glean from it and learn from it, and just take it as that and learn from it and grow. And that's a powerful lesson that I'm so grateful to be able to learn. And I encourage all of you, in whatever your dreams are, is to have a plan in place. And to ask those questions, to ask, what is your dream? What are you going to do with it once you have it? How are you going to get it? And what does your timetable look like? Have that strategy in place. And I encourage you to write it down. That was one of the activities in Dream Camp today, is really visualizing and writing down the goals and the dreams to turn that dream into a reality. And if we have a dream without a plan, I don't even know if we can call it a dream. I think it's more of a nightmare because it doesn't go anywhere. So we've got to have that plan and that timetable in place. And I encourage you to dream big. Don't put limits on yourself. And don't think that it has to be accomplished overnight. Some of, I think, the most beautiful dreams happen slowly over time. And I think unfortunately in our society, there's so many messages that we get that I just don't agree with. I don't measure success in terms of dollars, but rather sense, common sense, the way we treat people. People are far more important than profits. And life and business, it's all about people. It's all about those connections, and it's all about those relationships. And I encourage you to seek out people who who really understand your vision and who will listen to your dreams and really work with you. And I encourage you in all of that. And we talked about protecting dreams. We talked about protecting dreams through insurance, which is, it's just a reality of life. It's something that we all need to do. But another important way that we need to protect our dreams is with boundaries. And for all of us, our dreams are going to look different. My dreams include my priorities. And for me, it's my faith, it's my family, and then it's being of service through our work. And the minute those priorities are out of order, it is not a dream, it's a nightmare. My coping skills are out the window. The stress is unmanageable. I'm just crawling on the floor trying to get from point A to point B. I'm not effective at anything. So it's critical that we put those boundaries in place. My dreams, my priorities are challenged every day. There's so many distractions in life. And what it means is I can't accept every business opportunity. I can't attend every friend's party. A simple example of boundaries is we screen our calls at home. People I love go to voicemail. I'll get back to them, but just not on their timetable. And that works for me. And please figure out what works for you. It's there's so many pressures on our time. And I think for men and women, I think women in particular, there's this pressure that we have to do it all and have it all. And I do think we can have it all, whatever having it all means, because that's going to mean different things to different people, but not all at once. Our life comes in seasons, and at every season, we need to prioritize our time. And I know for me, our kids are going to be young for just a small window of time. And there are things that I just won't miss. And there's also business responsibilities that I know I have to accept. And there's that push and that pull and that tug when I can't be there for them because of what I know really needs to be accomplished. And when I flew out here yesterday, the flight attendant said, put on your own oxygen mask first, and then you can take care of those around you. And I think that's something that we forget to do quite often, and I encourage all of you to take the time to take care of yourselves. Sometimes we feel guilty. We feel like we just can't do that. You're nodding, yeah. And it's important so that we can really be there for those who are counting on us and for those who need us. And we can really work towards making our dreams become a reality. And it's important not to take our eyes off of what we do want to accomplish and to not get distracted by the many different challenges of life. We will have challenges in life. It's a given. Change is a constant, and many people fear change. And what I encourage you is change can be scary, but it's better than being irrelevant. And it is much more powerful to initiate positive change than simply being forced to react to the change that's coming. And so I encourage you to anticipate, to have your eye on the horizon, your ear to the ground, to listen. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I think it means we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. And here I've been chatting away, and I do want to have some time to hear from all of you. So in closing, here we are in Wisconsin. What a great place this is. My husband went to medical school, the Medical College of Wisconsin, years ago, and he always told me about the people here are just the best. There's nobody like them on earth. So warm and friendly. And Vince Lombardi, what an amazing guy, you know. And I'm gonna quote him, but I'm gonna mix up his words again. I hope you'll forgive me for that. But he was asked about winning, and I think we can apply that to dreaming as well. So we said, when he asked, what does it take to be number one? He said, you don't dream once in a while. Dreaming is an all the time kind of thing. You don't dream once in a while. Dreaming is a habit. And I want to make it our habit to just keep on dreaming and to put a plan in place to make sure that our dreams become a reality. And thank you so much. And I would love to hear from all of you. Does anybody have any comments, any questions? Anybody want to share any of their dreams? Anyone? Oh, you can't be as shy as me. Okay.
How many kids do you have, and like how has it been? Oh, sorry. How has it been with trying to balance like kids and business together?
Oh, great question. What is your name?
Kirsten Pullman.
Kirsten.
Yep.
Balance. Sometimes people ask me about balance, and sometimes I have absolutely none. Sometimes my days are a disaster, and it's really hard. It's day by day. But I talked about my team earlier, and they're critical to making it happen. That when I try to just shoulder everything, it's impossible and it's a mess. So working with a team, and if you're starting out and you have a business, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can work with college students who will work as an intern. You can trade. I mean, maybe your gifts are in interior design, and you can design someone's home and they can help you with something. I mean, there's things you can trade off, and with childcare and with services, with gifts, there's a lot that can be done. But also, on days that I do have balance, it's those days when I honor my priorities. And that's really the key for me. So thank you, Kirsten.
You bet.
Any other questions? Yes? And what's your name?
My name is Bridget, and first I just wanted to compliment you on speaking of Elizabeth Taylor, because I worked for her a long time ago, and had the pleasure of meeting her in person and broadcasting both her beauty inside and out. And it was lovely to see you recapture that, because I think a lot of folks don't know who she is or what she was to the world. So thank you. And then I don't do well at public speaking.
You do excellent. You're wonderful.
I think it's important for people to know that, and I can't, dreams will change all the time.
It's okay.
And it depends on the phase of life that you're in. And it's important not to give up.
It's okay.
But when you're a mother and you have children and you're trying to accomplish their dreams and goals along with the family end game, I call it, your dreams can change. And it's good to know that you can refocus yourself based on where your end game and your team is going. And so speaking back to what Kathy was talking about in terms of teams, we are all in this together, everybody in this room. And it's important to hear what people have to say and tweak your dream on a daily basis.
Oh, Bridget, that's beautiful. No, that's, to give you a hug, that's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Well said, and you are very well spoken. Thank you. Okay. You know what, Bridget, it's, you spoke that so eloquently, and so many of us, we're like in the squeeze generation. We have young ones that we're caring for. We have parents who we're caring for, and our dreams do change. They don't have to die. They do not have to die, but sometimes, I mean, I've had dreams that I thought were good dreams, and they weren't quite working out. And I can't tell you how many businesses I tried and failed miserably at, and came so close to just quitting the whole thing. I mean, you know, I talked about rejection. You can't let it get in your way, but it can kind of get to you after a while. It can kind of bum out your day. We all have those, but our dreams do take on different shapes. And what I've come to find as I get older is that they get better. And I think we dream bigger. My dreams were so limiting when I was younger, and for me, my dreams were so self-absorbed. But it's, you know, with life is constantly changing. And
then you have this 18-year-old.
yeah, your mother, no, seriously, you're both so beautiful. Oh, God, you're both so beautiful. That's so great. Oh, that's one. And what are your dreams?
I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm not sure. Just to be a better person and help out everybody.
It's a wonderful dream.
She's waiting
That's
for her college acceptance letters. She's applied to 9 universities and colleges across the country. She's in CNA classes at night, high school during the day. She's a musician. She writes her own music. She's on
okay. I'm just gonna go. Well, you've got a wonderful mom to do that for you. Congratulations to you. Well, you know, congratulations, because that is powerful. In 18 years, my goodness, that's incredible. And I'm you know what? It's a mom's right to be proud and brag on her kid, and that's amazing. That's wonderful. Good for you. I encourage you. And great things will happen. They really will. And you worked with Elizabeth. Where?
Oh, minor. And I worked for her fragrance division when she launched White Diamonds.
Really?
And on the stage in Chicago. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And the best story that I'll tell you, ladies, and gentlemen, is when she turned to the clinic girls at the clinic counter and said, "Ladies, do you think you have a brush so I can fix my hair?" I mean, she never thought she was above anyone.
No,
But,
so
you know,
genuine.
media can sometimes project things that are.
Oh, her entire life she dealt with the lies of the media.
All she wanted to do was help people with her charm and her beauty, her grace.
Yeah.
And she really had violet eyes. I've never seen eyes like that, and they were not color contacts.
Yes. And the biggest heart.
Ever.
I mean, it changed my life in so many ways and caused me to look at life, business, what a smart business person, philanthropy, design, just with a whole new set of eyes. An amazing person. And I believe in mentors, and what a privilege to be mentored by Elizabeth Taylor. And I'll tell you just a little bit. How are we doing time-wise, Stephen? Am I blabbing too long? Okay, I'll tell you just a little bit about our family background, so you understand why modeling never ranked too high on the achievement list. My husband, as well as being an emergency room physician, is a CEO of his own commercial fishing business. So when he's not saving lives, he's killing lobster. And my dad worked with the labor unions, farm workers, and as a child, I grew up attending Cesar Chavez rallies. We never ate grapes. Mom worked as a nurse, and she helped people during their most vulnerable moments. And, you know, my husband would come home from work, and he'd tell me about a life he helped save, and I'd come home from work. It's like, well, I came up with a new pose. And it really wasn't all that. I mean, my biggest secret is a photo retoucher, and today Photoshop. I mean, that's it. And it's really pathetic. I'm ashamed to say that I wasted time having the arrogance to assume that I should get all my fulfillment from my career, when all I had to do was open my eyes and extend my arms. There are needs everywhere. And the breakthrough for me there was learning to get over my hubris and learning to be a student and a servant. And I love being a student, and I never want to stop learning. When you stop learning, you stagnate. You stagnate, you die. You don't want to do that. So it's always great to learn. And I believe in mentorship. Had the privilege of working, mentoring girls and women the past 25 years, and being mentored by some amazing people like Elizabeth. I mean, what a heroic woman. When the AIDS epidemic was just coming on, she was very frustrated that so little was being done. And she said, you know, why isn't anybody doing anything? And then she looked in the mirror one day and said, wait a minute, I'm somebody and I can do something. And do you know what her friends did when she called to ask for help? They hung up on her. And she received death threats. Her business people pleaded with her, just leave this thing alone. But what I love about Elizabeth is she's so courageous. She didn't let any of that bother her. You know, she just battled forward, and she became the Joan of Arc of AIDS. And I still am learning lessons from her from heaven. She's amazing. Amazing. Does anybody else have any questions? Sorry. Yes. You can. Do we have time for two? I saw two hands. Sorry, Amanda. Okay. Okay.
Hello. My name is Melissa, and my question is, how do you go home after being rejected on a business deal or something and still be positive with your children?
That's a great question. It's not always easy, but I don't get my value from other people's perceptions of me. So when someone doesn't like me, it doesn't destroy me. I'm not a people pleaser. And a lot of people don't like me, and that's okay. I'm really okay with that. You know, I'm just going to be myself. And I'd rather stand for something than be lukewarm, so not everybody's going to like me, and it's okay. When you said that, it reminded me when our son was 3 years old, and I came home from work, and I had been really badly rejected. The guy was just nasty and mean, and he was just so innocently said, "How was your day, Mom?" And it was kind of weird, like 3, and he sounded so mature, and so I thought, I'm just going to be honest. And I said, it was really lousy. There was a man at work who was really mean to me today. And, you know, that was that. And then we went out and played. And so that night, I'm putting him to bed, and we're saying our prayers, and in my head, I'm thinking, oh, you know, I would like to go TP that man's house. You know, what am I going to, I was just like having awful thoughts that I'm ashamed of. And my 3-year-old son said, let's pray for that mean man. And it's like, oh, and I wasn't thinking of that, but he was absolutely right, and I said, and I thanked him, and I told him, you're right, and we did, and long story short, we became great friends with that man, and he really wasn't so mean after all, and it was great. Yeah.
Kathy, I'm curious because you went from being a very successful model to this incredibly successful businesswoman. And how did that shift take place? Was that something that you ever considered while you were in the height of your modeling career? Like, was that a seed that was like, well, when I'm done with this, this is what I want to do? Or can you talk to that a little bit about how, how did that click happen?
And what's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. You're very kind. I was okay as a model. I certainly wasn't all that. Excuse me. Modeling was not my dream. And you talked about, you know, sometimes dreams change and everything. It was not my dream at all. But it was an opportunity, and I felt like, you know, maybe I should explore it because perhaps I could save money for college or to start a business. Oh, thank you. And thank you. But I entered the modeling industry as a business person already. I've worked my whole life. And the entire time I worked in that business, I was trying and failing businesses. The modeling career would not have gone on as long as it did if one of my businesses would have taken off, but I had failure after failure after failure. So I had to squeeze into those swimsuits for a while, and I was really happy when, you know, with the socks, finally people embraced that. So that was, and what I learned is you have to have a passion for what you do. And it wasn't so much that I'm passionate about socks, but I'm passionate about being of service. And when I became a mom for the first time, our mission of finding solutions for families, especially busy moms, it crystallized because I very quickly realized how underserved moms are. And suddenly a shower became a luxury, and I was so grateful to Elizabeth's White Diamonds because I can't tell you how many times showering a bottle saved me. You know, I showered today, so you're all good, but sometimes there's just no time. You know, you got to make a decision. What's it going to be? You know, and yeah, and I don't get everything done. I mean, if you see my car, it's a mess. It's a disaster. You know, the kids' teachers, when I go pick them up, they just look. It's like, what, you know? I can't do everything. I got to make a choice here. And if you looked inside my purse today, you'd see the same thing. Some things have to go, and it's okay. I mean, we just can't kill ourselves trying to be perfect. It's, I don't know. I'm far from it, and I'm not going to try to be, so it's okay. But to answer your question, yeah, I was always interested in business. Business and design were my dream. It just took a long time for me to get there.
One of our online guests shared their dream with us, and it's Dustin, founder of Fit Moms for Life. His dream is to help 1 million moms get in the best shape of their lives and to connect deeply with other moms.
Love that. That's great. That's great. To Dustin, that's a very noble and wonderful dream, and I'm so excited. How great to have a dream that impacts so many people. So that's incredible. Really great. Really great. Any other comments, questions? Oh, okay. Yes.
You really inspired me tonight.
Oh, thank you.
And we do share something in common. Your birthday's the same day as mine.
Happy birthday almost. March 20th. Yeah.
Online and everything.
Yeah. Oh, well, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, you too. And have you ever considered a makeup line or anything? I mean, being in business.
We have. It's something that we're currently working on, but it's, I don't know. Some people call me a control freak. I like to just say passionate about what we do. And it's just really important that we do it right. And so, and that works on so many levels. Finding the right people who we're going to have differences, but when it comes to core values, that we're on the same page. So it's getting made the way we want it made, and it's got to be the right price to value ratio. So all those things. So sometimes it takes me a little while to get it just right, but I'd rather hold off until we do that. That's important, and I'm getting the wind-up thing, so thank you so much to all of you. I so appreciate it, and in closing, one more time, I'm going to share something with you. It's not my own, but I really believe it to be true. I have learned all that you give is all that you get, so give it all you've got. Here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life and dreamers and their dreams. And it's so great to be with you at Dream Camp. May all your storms be weathered. May all that's good get better. Here's to life. Here's to love. Here's to each and every one of you. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.